Psychobabble, oh, psychobabble. You're out in the sea, now it's fading to black. I threw it away, 'cause I don't want it back. I don't care what it's all psychobabble
Good morning, man. I was wondering if anybody'd be up at 10:30 on Saturday. I had this all set up. I had this all set up to go live in the shop this morning, but people that live right next to the shop are doing some kind of remodeling, and there's circular saws and hammers going, so figured that wouldn't be a good idea. This is so true. I'm the one. Pretty bad. You know, this when you get to the place where you think, you know, just common everyday people that have no clue who you are conspiring against you, you need to go talk to somebody. And you know, that's where, unfortunately, that's where Upchurch is at, and it's a shame. He's burning so many bridges, and you know, distancing himself from so many good people, so many people in the industry. And there's just nothing good to come from it. So how are you guys doing? And you know, every time I log on here, I see StreamYard's added new stuff. And apparently now you can have your comments overlaid on your stream. So I've activated that. We'll see how that works. I know a lot of people catch this on the replay. And, you know, but first I want to talk. Well, I've had a lot of people contacting me wondering how I am, where I've been. And I'll just say first, if you hear some nonsense from somebody in some chat in the circle of Crack Squad, the chances are it's completely 100% fabricated. None of those people have any contact with me. They have no idea. They wouldn't have a clue what's going on in my life. And I would say that the only reliable source would be Twisted Tennessee, because I do speak to him on the phone periodically. Anybody else, they're just making it up. So believe that. They wouldn't have a clue. And so anyway, I had to get a scope done, and then had to go back and get another one right away. And there's a risk of it, you know, making your throat raw and numb for a while. And that's exactly what happened. My voice was like, I couldn't talk. It was just like this all the time. And it took about a month for that to clear up. And now it's 90%. It's not 100%. I still have a bit of a sore throat, and it does hurt a little bit to talk for quite a while. But anyway, yeah, I'm doing fine otherwise. And it was a preventative maintenance type of thing. You know, it wasn't anything serious. I wanted to talk a little bit about this crap. And hey, good morning, all you guys. Appreciate you tuning in this early. I want to talk a little bit about this crap with Elon Musk. I was skeptical of him to begin with, because I'm always a little skeptical when somebody that's been a flaming liberal their entire life suddenly makes the switch. You know, now if you saw this like slow transition over time, from being a flaming liberal to now being a conservative or an independent, um, that's a little more easy to believe. But when you see somebody do it like a light switch, they either weren't really a flaming liberal and they were conservative the whole time, or they're a flaming liberal and now they're going to pretend to be a conservative for a while. And, you know, I see that with that Kasparian from the Young Turks, you know, her suddenly getting, you know, based. It's just nobody's watching the Young Turks anymore. Nobody's watching radical left wing content anymore. They're tired of being lied to. And so all of those channels aren't getting any views. And so she's just making a business move. By now supporting Trump and supporting MAGA, she's getting attention she wouldn't have otherwise gotten. She's been put on every conservative podcast and all this crap. So yeah, she's just making views for herself. And I had that suspicion of Elon Musk, even when he suddenly was backing DeSantis. Because I thought to myself, if you're a liberal your whole life, you're a Democrat voter, and now all of a sudden you've got the bug to, you want to see things be fair, you want an equal justice system, you want law and order, and this type of thing, you would have probably leaned towards MAGA, which is more, there's a lot more people in the MAGA movement that are, center of the road independents than there are DeSantis supporters. Most DeSantis supporters are hardcore conservative. So I was a little skeptical to see that Elon was supporting Ron DeSantis all of a sudden. And when he dropped out of the campaign, and Trump started just smashing it in all the polls, and then all of a sudden, Elon's MAGA. And I was suspicious of that. I was really suspicious of that because he didn't have anything good to say about Trump up until that day he walked up on stage at a MAGA rally. And so I was fooled, the same as everybody else for a while, that, oh, gee, Elon's this great, inventor who is now, or entrepreneur rather, who is now supporting MAGA. It's all good. And, and he's going to help get the astronauts and all this. And, oh, gee, look what the Democrats are doing to his cars. And, yeah, he got me. I thought he would, would be an asset for quite a while. And turns out he was never, not for a minute, out for the country, out for MAGA, out for Trump. He was out for Elon the entire time. And I know some of you don't want to believe that. I know some of you are going to have a hard time with it, but you're going to find out I'm right. And to see that, to watch him throw such a hissy fit because they didn't include tax incentives just for electric cars in the big, beautiful bill. They gave it to all of the car makers because we want them all to do well. And Elon had a big meltdown about that. And what a way to show who you really are. And for those of you that are under the delusion that somehow Elon Musk has had access to information concerning the Epstein files that nobody else had access to, you're just drunk on Elon. He has no clue anything to do with that case. He's not been shown any of it. He's not seen any of it. He's just completely pulling that out of his ass to be an ass. And there's many reasons for that. And for some of you out there that still want to believe Elon Musk, I'll just give this to you. 3 days ago, he stood in the Oval Office, said that the bill was incredible. They worked very hard on it together, and that it was the best piece of legislation in his lifetime, and all that. And Donald Trump was awesome, and he's never seen Donald Trump do anything that would be even considered nefarious. And Trump handed him the key to the White House, and all this. And then 3 days later, the bill's horrible. It's going to bankrupt the country in 2 years. Donald Trump's a pedophile. He was either lying then or he's lying now. So I don't want to hear anybody try to tell me he's not a liar. Because you can't say two completely different things and claim they're both true. I mean, it doesn't bode well for Elon Musk to be saying those things about Trump when just 3 days ago he was talking about his Donald Trump watching his kid, and they were, he liked Donald Trump as much as a straight man could like another straight man. And so it doesn't really bode well for him either way. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, Snivies, and it's most of that is just, for lack of a better word, psychobabble. I mean, it's just political talk. It doesn't have a lot of weight behind it, but there's no way that you can be, if you have any understanding of what the MAGA movement is, if you really had any understanding of what it was, and you were supporting MAGA for what it was, there's no way you could say the things that he has said in the last couple days. I mean, it's just that cut and dry. So who needs Elon Musk? The notion that he somehow had something to do with Trump getting a landslide victory after the work and the hell that MAGA and Trump went through over the last 4 years, for him to show up in the last what, 45 days of the campaign and then take credit for it is insane. Just insane. Trump was smashing it in every single poll. And in fact, when Elon came aboard, Trump's polls actually went down a little bit in a couple of the swing states. They didn't go up, they went down. And Elon being there, what was great, appreciate your support. But if you're under any delusion that the MAGA movement wouldn't have prevailed without Elon Musk, you're out of your mind. The outcome would have been exactly the same if Elon would have been trash mouthing Trump every single day on X for the entire campaign. It wouldn't have made any difference to a MAGA vote. And the people that were going to vote MAGA had already decided they were going to vote MAGA 4 years ago. When he was cheated out of his win in 2020. You know, he got the same amount of votes in 2020 that he got in 2016. A lot of people don't know that. But where was Elon Musk then? It's just ridiculous. And so, you know, if you're for Elon Musk, you're sure as hell not MAGA. And you're probably worse than a Democrat, in my opinion, because at least the far left extremists, the Democrats, tell you who they are. This here shit of pretending to be MAGA when you're really not, that's pretty sleazy. And so, yeah, I view him worse as somebody worse than a Democrat right now. Now, that doesn't mean the things he's doing aren't great. You know, SpaceX is wonderful. Tesla cars are great. Elon Musk, the man, is a bit of a conceited, big-headed piece of shit. And yeah, he's pretty brilliant, but most of the space stuff is to the people that work for him. Those people are the brilliant minds. He's just bankrolling it. And not to negate anything they've accomplished, but you're a fool. You're a fool if you support somebody like that. That's ridiculous. And if he ran for office, he would lose horribly. I mean, horribly. He would get less votes than Kamala Harris got during her nomination campaign. I mean, he probably, if he ran for office, he would not make it to the convention. He would have to drop out within the first 6 months because he'd have maybe about 1 million supporters and it would never get any bigger than. So yeah, he's got a case of the big head, and he may know a lot about business, but what he doesn't know is running a business that has to please everyone. Running a business that has to be fair to everybody. He doesn't have a clue how to do that. I mean, not even close. And he's going to learn a lesson the hard way, that there is nothing that is going to come between MAGA and Donald Trump. Nothing. Because it's not the person that we're supporting, it's the policies. And we don't care who the courier of those policies are as much as we care about the policies. And I think identity politics have trained people to go in camps, camp Democrat, camp Republican, when it should be camp policy. And you should always vote for policies, not people. People can't have any effect on your day-to-day life or your grandchildren's life. Policies can. And it's the MAGA policies that we support, Elon Musk. So you can trash mouth Donald Trump all you want. It's not going to change the way we feel about the policies and the hell that he endured to make sure we got most of those policies. And you've got to be mature enough to know you can't have it all. You can't have it all. A bill that no one will vote on is worthless. So I would rather see a bill go through the Senate and Congress that has 70% of things that will improve the quality of my life and the quality of people I care about than I would seeing nothing. And the sooner some people figure that out, the happier they're going to be with the way things are going. I mean, we got a lot in the first few months. Nobody is disappointed, Elon, with Donald's performance. He has came through with a hell of a lot of great policies and came through with a lot of campaign promises. And you can't ask for much more than that. And I'm not too upset about additional spending in this bill because I have sense enough to know that these policies, these tariffs, these better trade deals that benefit American workers is going to increase the GDP by about 3 times as much. So it doesn't bother me at all. So yeah, if you're swinging with Elon, you're playing a fool's game. He was never MAGA ever. He was for Elon, and he expected Donald Trump to do him favors and give him special treatment. And Donald Trump is one, too professional to do that, and two, would never risk the work the MAGA movement has done or the achievements to do you a favor. You can't do that. And when he volunteered his time, he shouldn't have volunteered his time if he thought there was a reward. And he did. He had his mindset on a reward. And so it wasn't a volunteer thing that he did for MAGA. It was to improve Elon's circumstances. So I hate it. But if he thought Tesla suffered before, wait till he sees what happens now. Because the Democrats weren't going to buy them anymore. A lot of Democrats that were going to buy an electric car, they were the people that supported that type of thing. That was absolutely electric cars, absolutely for the most part, are a liberal thing. Hardcore conservatives weren't running out buying electric cars. They were buying F-150s. And so he had a lot of conservatives that were pondering and even were gonna and even did buy Teslas to offset the negativity he was getting from the left. I even considered leasing a Cybertruck for 3 years. Just to be supportive of the guy, because I felt bad that he was getting railed. But now that I know it was all for his own benefit, I don't give a shit. And I wouldn't be caught in one thing. And he's going to find out that the few people on the right that we're going to buy aren't going to do it now. And nobody has gotten between MAGA and Trump. And if he thinks he can do it, I wish him luck, because all he's going to do is just screw things over for himself. Nobody's going to care what Elon Musk has to say anymore. Not anybody in MAGA. See you later, dude. Get out of here. Now to touch base on the baseless allegation that Elon made, like some scorned ex-girlfriend. I mean, you guys know the typical scorned ex, the ex-girlfriend or the ex-wife. Okay. You're married to a girl, or you live with a girl, you have a couple kids, maybe she has a couple kids from another relationship. You're taking the kids to school, you're picking the kids up to school, you're watching the kids when she's working second shift, you're cooking supper for everybody, everything's cool, you're laying in the bed with her every night. But then suddenly, when you separate or you get a divorce, you're an unfit parent, you're dangerous, you're all okay. That's exactly what Elon acts like, some scorned ex-girlfriend. And so childish. And for him to make that claim, for any of you that apply any merit to that at all, if you think that the far left extremists in Washington, including top brass of the FBI and the CIA, if you think that they had a list that would prove that Donald Trump was at Epstein Island doing things he shouldn't have been doing, if you think they wouldn't have leaked that as an October surprise in 2016 or in 2020 or in 2024, you're out of your mind. People say, well, yeah, but what if some really important Democrats were on there too, so they couldn't release it with Donald Trump on there, because then they would, they would just redact every name but his and say, oops, we forgot to redact that one. And the media wouldn't give a shit. And then you'd never see the rest of the list. That's the way it would have went if his name was on it. And any notion otherwise is crazy. And then to speak to the other silliness, because the idea that there is a list is an internet rumor. There's been no claim that somewhere there's a list or some files that have every person's name listed that did something bad at Epstein's place. And there is no such of list. There's no list like that. No such list exists. That's a thing that was invented by YouTubers speculating. Never been a news report about a list. There's never been any talk about a list. It all was a speculating thing that has just ran out of control ever since the guys, took his own life, supposedly. And I believe that Dan Bongino and Cash Mattel, if they say that there's a video of the jail that is unedited, that'll show you that nobody came or left the entire night, if they say such a video exists, then I'm going to believe that until somebody can prove otherwise. I don't see why they would lie about it. I'm almost certain they wouldn't. And I know everybody wants to believe that, it's like a movie and there's some sinister character in the background pulling all the levers. And all. It's just not that way, man. These are people just like you and I. One person or two people or three people can pull off a conspiracy, I suppose. But when you start getting over 10 people involved, someone somewhere is going to say something, going to screw up, going to something. It just be very hard to pull off a lot of the conspiracies that the internet claims are possible. It's just ridiculous. It's, there is no list that says, Dan Johnson on 8/25 at 8:30 p.m. was at Epstein Island with a 13-year-old and they did XYZ. There is no list like that. There isn't one. A client list, like from his Rolodex, what's that prove? So you're telling me that if somebody that has your phone number or somebody you were friends with or somebody you went to school with or somebody you used to work with, and they have your number, if they get arrested for something, you're guilty of it too. Because that's the implication here, that if Epstein has your phone number, well, then you're guilty of, you're a pedophile. I mean, that's a bit of a stretch, don't you think? And so for all you conspiracy theorists out there, you need to just tone it down, man. There's no such list. They have very little evidence. Even the girls that came forward, had very little evidence. I'm not saying they were lying. I'm saying they had very little evidence. She had one photo of her standing beside the Prince of Wales. One picture of her standing beside the Prince of Wales. That was the entire evidence she brought to court. Now, no one denies she was with him. No one denies any of that. But she could make a lot of claims that weren't true, and you wouldn't know one way or the other. And the other thing that grows a little tired is this nonsense, that, a teenage girl, is just such a victim when you've got 17-year-olds who have OnlyFans accounts with fake IDs. And they're doing consensual things on the internet or selling themselves. And it's not unusual at all. In fact, it's quite common. So there's no guarantee she wasn't having the time of her life hobnobbing with billionaires and having three ways with grown men. You have no idea. So all you conspiracy theorists, I think you're stupid. And there is no list. There is no such evidence, really. Now, they claim they have tapes of him, Epstein, doing things with underage. There's no claim of a tape with someone else. Only him. I mean, you at least got to digest the facts if you're going to have an opinion about it. And so that's all I got to say about that. I mean, there's not no list. The most that they would have would be like his contact list, like people he could contact. You can't even go by a flight log. And let me tell you why. He loaned that jet out all the time. He loaned that to companies, and they like used it to fly their employees to the company yearly picnic or the company yearly outing. He also leased out that mansion on the island to corporations that had seminars there and fundraisers there and had, company picnics there. So just because you could prove someone flew to the island, it doesn't prove they did anything illegal. It's all speculation. I mean, it would be pretty unfair if you went and rented an Airbnb and you rented a private jet to get there. So you rent a private jet and you rent the Airbnb for the weekend, and a month later, the guy gets arrested for something like what Epstein did. Now you're guilty too. I mean, you can't do. So what's Martin on? I'm not going to let you come in here with your drama, Martin. Okay, you're too immature for adults anyway. I mean, you never stop with this stuff. You've been doing this for how long? You have absolutely not a shred of credibility. Not a thread. So whatever you're up to, can it. I just don't want to hear it. You mean absolutely nothing to me. I want you to understand that. You mean nothing to me. You're just nobody, middle-aged, flat-out loser who has failed at life. Completely failed at being a man, completely failed being a father, completely failed at being a husband, completely failed at being an employee, and completely failed at being a YouTuber. So just can it. If you aren't here because you want to hear what I have to say, famoose. Don't need you. You're just a weirdo. So where was I? So I wouldn't support take a look here. I wouldn't support a thing that Elon Musk says or does anymore. I wouldn't give a crap what that guy does or says. He would never be a part of anything I'm doing anymore. And he certainly was never MAGA. He wouldn't know if Donald Trump's was name and was on some Epstein list because there isn't one. There isn't one. There's never going to be one. The only thing they have is the evidence they gathered at his house when they raided it. They might have his Rolodex, some flight logs from the jet, and some security video from the house on the island. And to close with that, just one more thing. Epstein was convicted of underage in 2008, and Donald Trump immediately barred him from all properties and gave a full statement to the lawyers and all that of everything he knew at the time. And Epstein knew that the FBI could raid him any minute, at any time, especially with the lifestyle he was doing, hobnobbing with all these huge players. So you think, do any of you really think that he would have just had a DVR recording all these illegal things and the FBI could come kick down the door and pop the tape out of the DVR and go, oh, we got you. I mean, come on. For God's sakes, man. The whole notion, because here's the internet YouTuber conspiracy that has absolutely not a shred of evidence to back it up, is that Epstein would dangle underage at these rich people and then record them doing some dirty deed and then use that recording to blackmail them. And that's how he got his money. And when he got busted the first time, not one person came forward and said, yeah, that son of a bitch was blackmailing me. Or not one person came forward thinking, oh my God, he's probably got a tape of me doing something, so I better get out in front of this. I just find it. He may have been able to do that to like one person, maybe one person. But for you people to assume that he extorted all of his money is absurd. It's just absurd. It's an internet rumor that YouTubers created. There's no evidence that ever suggests that or support that in any way. A lot of people don't know where he's got his money, but a lot of people have explained where he got his money. His brother explained it, made total sense to me. And he was friends with Lex Wexner. For a while, Lex Wexner was the richest guy in the world for a little while. And they were friends long before Wexner got that wealthy. So I'm sure that gave him as a day trader and a corporate investor. I'm sure he had a lot of wonderful contacts, and I'm sure he made millions of dollars doing corporate investment with some of the richest people in the world. The commissions on that would be in the millions. And so he didn't get all his money by blackmailing people that he tricked into flying to his island to have relations with an underage. I mean, come on. This is shit you'd see in a fiction movie. Not in real life. I mean, some of these people, you guys go too far with it. And you're going to find out it's not as salacious as everybody wanted it to be. You're going to find out that there was really no list to release. What list are you talking about? Honestly, I want to know, what list is it you think there is to release? Where did you ever have any evidence that there's some log of pedophiles? I mean, just people can run wild. It's you know, the Democrat Party are magnificent at creating a fiction story or lying and then continually repeating that fiction story and that lie every time the subject comes up, and you repeat it and repeat it and repeat, and pretty soon the fiction story becomes the narrative. And that is such the case with the Epstein nonsense. The internet exploded with that when people questioned whether or not if he killed himself, and they've built all these wild conspiracies and talked about them like they were facts. And they're just not facts. There is absolutely not a shred of evidence to suggest that there's some list of names of people that are guilty of doing dastardly things on his island. There just isn't one. So, no, and look at this dummy, this is what I mean about, people being immature. It's like, you just see the silly stuff, oh, why are you defending Epstein? Did anybody hear me defending him? I didn't defend anything. I said it's a conspiracy to suggest that he blackmailed hundreds of really rich dudes. And that's how he made all his money. Come on. The crap he did with underage is just despicable. Good grief. So, and then I want to I'll talk about to be MAGA, you've got to be for the policies and be all in. And you're not going to change your mind suddenly because somebody said some insulting thing about Donald Trump. It's just absurd. And they keep trying it and they keep trying it. And I mean, they've thrown the kitchen sink at this point. And not going to work. No one's going to get separated, from the MAGA movement because Elon Musk suddenly don't like it no more. He didn't like it a year ago. Less than that. 8 months ago, Elon Musk didn't like the MAGA movement and viewed you. And I'm talking about you, everybody listening. Elon Musk viewed you as some worthless redneck from the sticks that's dumber than shit. And that's how he sees you. Exactly how he sees you. That if you went in Walmart, the place would stink. So never forget that. So, to touch a little bit on the Upchurch nonsense. I can't believe that his friends, so-called friends, the people he pays to be his friends, have let things get this bad. It's such a crappy thing for people that have money to have a problem with drugs, because rock bottom's a long way away. Your average addict is broke, and they get tired of being broke. They're homeless. They get tired of being homeless. They have no friends, and they get tired of being alone. They have no woman. They get tired of being alone. And so rock bottom finally comes around. But when you're rich and people will kiss your ass no matter what you do, rock bottom's a long way away. And that's what we're seeing. I mean, his paranoia has reached a level that's frightening. And to go to the hospital and cause a bunch of drama because you think people in the hospital are conspiring to do something to your baby because you're Ryan Upchurch. When you think record labels that are spitting out millionaires by the dozens, people who have hundreds of millions of dollars, are worried about little old Ryan Upchurch. It's just crazy talk. It's just absolute crazy talk. And Creeker 3 was an abomination. I don't know where he found that band. That drummer sucked bad. The guitar player was extremely mediocre at best. Like, I know people right around here that can play way better. Way better. There is not a single time on that entire album where that band is tight enough to create a pocket. Not once. There's not a single song on the album where the bass player and the drummer are in sync, which is the key foundation to any song. I don't give a shit what it is, country, rock, rap, pop. I don't give a shit. The bass and the drums are the foundation. If those two can't stay in time, it's over. And so see this dude anymore. Jesus. That guy. He needs help. Anyway, so to think that, and the reason why I bring that up is a couple of things. One, the Creeker 3 release was a very much awaited album that Ryan claimed he had been working on for 3 years. I mean, that's what he said, right? And, Creeker 2 was killer, man. That was just a wonderful album. The band was good. The guitar player was good. The vocals were hot. The songs rang in your head. It was good. And so people were really, really waiting on see how long it takes Martin to create a sock account and come back. He's got no life. This stuff's all he has in the whole world. Anyway, to think that, he was supposed to have been working on that for 3 years and what it was up against, because it was going to be measured against Creeker 2, right? Of course. That's the bar. Creeker 2 was the bar. And man, that was sloppy, rushed, thrown together, very little rehearsal, and some band that wasn't even tight with each other. And so it just shocks me that he did that. And pretty hard to come back from, man. That's 2 albums in a row that were just total flops. What's he say? Says, what are you talking about, new mod? I don't even know what you're talking about, dude. I banned Martin. I did it. I don't know what you're talking about. Nobody cares about you getting a Tesla. I mean, honestly, I don't care. Go and jump in my Tesla and fly to my space. Nobody cares. Have a good time. Now, I don't know what you're talking about. People say stuff. I had people tell me all this crap. I go look. I don't see anything. I'm not going to mod personal disagreements about politics. That's ridiculous. Somebody don't agree with you, you just got to live with that, man. You can't make people agree with you, dude. The cult of exposing the cult of creeksquad. That is, that's a good username. That's great. I love it. You knucklehead. Jesus Christ. When are you going to Martin? Are you going to plug into life one day and just grow up, start being a man, quit lying, quit telling lies, quit making up stories, and actually create some core convictions that are the foundation of who you are as a man? Are you just going to be this wishy-washy, immature, reactionary storyteller and big fibber your whole life? I mean, you had to go live with a fat girl because you had nowhere to go when your wife dumped you, right? And I would have thought that would have been a shaker, snap you out of it. And go, oh man, I got to get it together. Look at me, man. I had a wife, a kid, and a home, and now I'm shacking up in a fat girl's basement. No? Didn't wake you up at all? It would have woke me up a little bit. Just saying. Anyway, back to where was I? Oh yeah, it's just a shame that Ryan has damaged his brand to the degree that he's damaged it, and ruined what any kind of a legacy he may have had, and is literally having beefs with everyone, actually thinking that he's going to somehow discredit Jelly Roll Like, you can see, I don't care what you think. You don't have hits as big as Jelly Roll's hits and not be talented. I'm sorry. That kind of lightning doesn't strike by accident. It doesn't. And it just makes you look foolish. And anybody that Ryan has a tryst with, then all these little nut swingers of his have to do it too, right? Like little robots, you know. Cashville rang my phone the other day. See, I'll show you. You know, just to show you, I'm dead serious. Okay. Right there, Ryan. And I'm like, what the fuck's he doing calling me? I didn't even answer it. Like, dude, you've been swinging on Upchurch nuts, trash mouth and Jelly Roll just because Ryan said so. Your credibility with me is shit. I don't want to hear anything he has to say ever. I mean, the guy has no loyalty, no convictions, no core foundation, just whatever way will get me what I want. And I've got no use for people like that. And, you know, as soon as Ryan starts trash mouthing Jelly Roll, there's Cashville doing the same thing, like some little fucking groupie trying to get a fucking backstage pass. It's just sad to see, man. It blows my mind that a little bit of money and a little bit of fame can reduce men down to just little sniving bitches. It's unbelievable. I mean, I wouldn't kiss someone's ass to get attention from them, no matter who they were. Jelly Roll's got more talent in his toenail clippings than Upchurch, Cashville, and everyone they know combined. Nobody in their circle will ever have a hit that even comes close to something Jelly Roll's done. Not even close, not even in the same atmosphere. You can't go in a truck stop anywhere in this country and not hear a Jelly Roll song playing. You can't turn your radio on, any pop or country station anywhere in the world, and not hear a Jelly Roll song about every 2 hours. That's never going to happen for anybody in Upchurch's circle. No one. It's never going to happen for Upchurch, and it's never going to happen for anybody in his circle. Ever. So it's just laughable to watch you plebs try to badmouth somebody like that as if he has some even give a shit what you're doing. I honestly believe he would have been a good friend and a good asset for Upchurch. And Upchurch burnt that bridge for absolutely no reason beyond the dope that he's on. Period. It's just sometimes you just got to say it like it is. And so anyway, that is about it for today. I'll be back on soon. we'll get into something. I just wanted to talk about this Elon thing because I see so many. The other thing that's really annoying is listen, people, they both need to knock it off. No, they both don't need to knock anything. Elon Musk needs to shut up and go away. Period. All Trump did was respond to his baseless attacks. I put up with that shit too. I had people making 40 fucking videos before I ever spoke a word to them saying everything under the sun about me, up to and including the P word. And I finally responded and said, oh, you two need to knock it off. Now, screw you. You know, Trump's got a right to respond to that shit. And that's exactly what he did. Responded to the shit. He didn't start anything. He didn't engage in anything. He didn't do nothing but just respond. And he had every fucking right to. I agree. Let me find that again. Where'd that go? There you go. Yeah. BX Beast. I agree. I think that Elon is doing all this in hopes that Democrats will buy Teslas again. But I'm telling you, and it's because Elon was never there for MAGA. Elon was there for Elon. And so now, since Elon didn't get what Elon wanted, was a tax subsidy for Teslas so he could sell them in other countries cheaper, then now he's got to go back and get the Democrats to like him again. So that's what we see. And you know, if he would have had a little patience, well, a couple things. His level of self-importance had been getting a bit out of control, staffers say. Like maybe he thought he was as important as the president. That happens a lot. I'm not, you know, that happens. And he just didn't handle it well. And it wore thin. Nobody voted for Elon Musk. Not one person. So, and yeah, he knee-jerked it, and I think he really screwed the pooch, because I think if he would have stayed loyal to the movement, I'm not saying loyal to Trump, but loyal to the MAGA movement and its policies and the direction we want to go, if he would have stayed loyal to that, I think he would have been rewarded beyond belief over the next decade. Over the next 10 years, he would have been rewarded massively by the people, by everybody. Now, he's alienated the entire country. He alienated the Democrats when he joined the MAGA movement, and now he's spitting MAGA's face. So now he's standing there with his pants down. And I got no use for the guy, man. Nope. Not at all. And he's going to have a hard frickin' time bouncing back from this. A few little hardcore Elon fanboys it ain't a large enough group to affect any election. There's just not enough of them. So he's really paddled his way up a one-way creek in my book. And there's nothing at the end but a big, huge waterfall. So appreciate y'all tuning in. I'm going to get off here, get some things done. It's Saturday. We will definitely be back pretty soon. Like I say, my voice is healed up now pretty good. It's about 90%. And I'll be in the mood to do some more videos. I've got some good footage of some stuff we went and did. Try to put together a video with that. And y'all enjoy your weekend, man. And catch you later. Appreciate you tuning in.
Psychobabble.